Okay, well, tell me when it's all right. We're live.
Yay!
Hello, and this is the Wild Witches collab, and we're like The View, but with witches. Witches from all different types of paths coming together and giving you a little bit of their opinions about whatever topic we're on. We are going to do some really neat topics, and eventually when we run out of topics, or like maybe once a month, we'll do a asked for topic by the viewers. Hopefully you enjoy this video, and we are all going to introduce ourselves now. I am Luna Faye, also known as the Random Witch, and I am over on the Randomness Magic blog. And we are going to be here at 9 p.m. Eastern Time in the USA, so that's the time we're going to be here every Monday, hopefully, if there are no technical problems. All of us are not here at the time. We have about 3 other members that are not present, and we may do a smaller video later in the week to catch them up on their intros. Okay, so let me start my intro. Hi, I'm the Random Witch, and I'm a medium. I am a slightly bit of a sensitive. I am currently an eclectic witch, and I work with herbs, crystals, and I do a lot of energy work through meditation. My spiritual journey started pretty young because I was raised in a house that was very openly spiritual. I have seen, talked, and experienced things with spirits since I was very young, so my spiritual side kind of took root pretty fast. The one story that always comes to mind for that is the first thing that I can remember about seeing a spirit. And I'm going to tell you the story real quick, as fast as possible. I was pretty young, I would say around 5 or 6. I was pretty young, and I was over at my aunt's house with my mother, and they had asked me to go into the back of the house to go get something, and I did not want to go back to the back of the house because there had always been this dark, like, I called it the dark man, because that's what it looked like to me, and I told them, no, I don't want to go back there to get that because the dark man is there. And they were like, what? Who's here? Like, who are you talking about? What are you talking about? Because they thought somebody was in the house. And I was like, no, he's always there. He's been there. He's always there. And they're like, show me what you're talking about. So I take them into the back when I really didn't want to, but they pestered me and pestered me. So I take them into the back, and I pointed up because he was like hanging from the ceiling. Now, what I didn't understand was it was actually a spirit who had been hanged on the property, and there was like proof of that in the records of the property, and I didn't know that. But it was a man that had been hanged on the property, and he was stuck. And when I told them this, my mom knew exactly what was happening, and she got the white sage, and she got the smudge fan, and she was like, okay, let's take care of this. And she explained to me that this was a person who was stuck in the physical realm when he should have moved on. And so she smudged, and she said, you know, since you can see him, you need to tell him he needs to move on, and you tell him he can go to where he needs to go. And I was scared, but I was like, okay. So I like felt really weird doing it, but I told the spirit, you know, you're not supposed to be here. You're really sad. Because when I saw him, all I felt was like utter sadness and like hopelessness, and it was just this dark void that was like around this presence. But I mean, and he was like barely aware of anything else other than that hopelessness. and it was like it was very dark, but it wasn't like a violent or mean or violent at all. It wasn't anything like that. So I said, you can go home. You need to go. You're stuck here, but you need to move on. And as soon as I start seeing him kind of it was almost as if he started to not evaporate, but kind of expand and then rise up, and then he was fading away. And I said, he's going now. He's leaving. As soon as I said that, oh, he's gone. And I'm not lying, this really happened. And it's stuck in my mind forever, because as soon as I said he's gone, the light in the closet that we were in front of pops and like goes out. My aunt literally almost pisses herself and like runs screaming. And my mom explained to me what my gift was, and I had to deal with it a lot growing up, because we would go to like these old houses, and it was very, I've had to deal with a lot of spirit activity. So my spiritual journey started really young. So I've always been spiritual, but I went through the journey of finding my spiritual path, and that took a very long time. But I'm very happy with my spiritual path. I am an eclectic witch. I don't put myself in a box of any one certain faith, but I respect all other faiths, and I think they all have very good merit, and I'm very interested in learning anything from any faith. Um, I work a lot with crystals. Like, I just got a Lumerian seed this week and got some turquoise, and I work with them through healing energies and protective energies. Um, let's see, what else? Oh, I do have a lot of experience with tarot and like delving deep into tarot, but my channel's not really about tarot because I've already come to the end of my journey with it, so I will not be giving very much opinion about that. So I hope to learn more from everybody, and I hope this collab goes well. And I have a lot of Native American traditions. I grew up with that, so I have a lot of that in my practice. So that's me, and I hope you guys enjoy this collab. Okay, next.
Oh, great. Now I have to follow that, huh? Okay. So, so my name is Larissa. I grew up in a Christian household, but it was like a very spiritual, open-minded Christian household. So I grew up with a very, at first it was more of a naturalist interest in plants and animals. Like I was so obsessed with that and writing because my mom was a writer. And then as I grew older, I just gravitated more toward traditions that they kind of revered and worked with the natural world because that was what I was into. Um, so I would say I'm still on good terms with Jesus and God. Like I don't actually work with them. You know, I work with Kronos, but I don't have any, like I don't feel like I'm going to be setting on fire if I go into a church, essentially. So I have like, you know, a good relationship. So I mostly work in the realm of like dreams. I've always had like out of body experiences with my dreams, and I've also I dream about the future sometimes, but it's not all dramatic like this person will die in a car accident. It's like random snatches of conversation that really aren't interesting enough to live through twice in the first place. So like it's not, you know, a great thing. Let's see. But recently I have discovered something which is really interesting that I did not realize is that all of the women, because I have two sisters and I have a mother, obviously, we all have really strong relationship with our dreams. One of my sisters was just telling me like a couple of weeks ago that she felt like she visited other worlds and other times in her dreams. And so it was just really interesting that it was this thing that we all share, is this really intense relationship of like spiritual discovery through dream work. Um, so I don't know. So I'm pretty interested in exploring that. And let's see. And also written magic has really been coming to me lately. And I'm thinking about the theory that like any other kind of energy magic kind of goes through the path of least resistance, so that since I'm writing is like a passion of mine and nature is a passion of mine, like my magical gifts are awakening in those areas because I'm already really interested and I'm already paying attention to them. But yeah, written magic has come into my life, whether it's through like channeled writing or like manifestations, and I wasn't looking for it, but there it is. So I guess, you know, um, I am super into tarot. I have way too many tarot decks for one person that only reads for herself. And like when my mom came over for a visit, like I had to hide half of them, and she was not fooled. And she was like, "Yeah, I know you're spending all your money on tarot decks." So like yes, so I'm super into tarot. I am also super into crystals. I have crystals coming like out of my ears. So those are my main interests. Other than that, I guess I would say I'm like an eclectic shamanic witch, and that's I literally don't have anything else interesting to say, so I'll just end it right there. That's pretty much it.
Oh, Lilokin, can you go? My kids are calling me.
Uh-oh. And it sounds like you have a little echo, too. Yeah. Is my speaker on? Okay. Well, hi. My name's Lilokin, and I don't know why it's not focusing on me.
It is.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay, good. I just didn't see it.
Yeah.
So I am a traditional witch, well, traditional Gardnerian Wiccan. So I got into Wicca when I was about 13 years old. I don't have any special, none of my grandparents, I don't have any family lineage. I don't have any special gifts or anything. I just decided to become Wicca, just appealed to me, and I followed it. And I started when I was about 13 years old, and that's when I started getting into like Wicca and Celtic history and just studying that. And it just, something happened and it just sparked inside of me, and it was what I wanted to follow. And I've been studying Wicca for probably about, so it's 13, so 36 years now. And it's not so much, people always say, you've been studying Wicca for 36 years. It's like, how much is there to study? But it's actually not that. It's just you just live life, and it's part of, it's like you've been this way for 36 years, and I've just been practicing it for 36 years. It's not like I really have to keep learning stuff, but there's definitely a lot there. I also study a lot of occult knowledge. I think the Western occult tradition is incredibly rich. I mean, the more you research the history of the Western occult tradition, it goes back farther and farther. It goes back to the 14th century. It can even go back to the 8th century. So we have a very rich heritage. And there's a lot of other paths in the world. It's not just like the Western occult tradition is the only one. I mean, there's a lot of traditions that have gone back for many years that a lot of people have studied. And, there's a lot to it. Let's see, what else can I say? So traditional Wicca is one of those paths that you practice in a group. You do have like an eclectic practice, meaning like your own private practice, like you see my altar in the back there. So you do have your own practice, but it's mainly a group practice. So you have to have at least 2 more people to practice it. And there's things that I just can't talk about in Wicca. So I'll be happy to answer questions that people have, but if it gets to a certain point, like there's certain things I just can't answer, I'll just be honest about it, and I'll just say I just can't answer that because of such and such. So I hope people don't feel like I'm just copying out or trying to like get on a high horse and say I'm better than all of you. So that's not it at all. So I just want you to know that. I'm really interested in learning a lot about other traditions. I think especially traditional what people are calling nowadays traditional witchcraft, which are like non-Wicca practices of witchcraft, I think are very fascinating, and I'm always interested to learn more about that. Because I don't know that much about it, and so I'm always looking to find out more about it. Let's see, what else can I say? I think that's about it, Yvonne. Did you take care of your kids?
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess I should say that there will be Mondays where I will either miss out or be late or have to step out for a second. My ex-husband has custody of my children right now while I go to school, and they call me every night. But dependent on whatever goes on with their lives, they call anywhere between 7:50 to 8:30 because they really don't like taking showers. So it just depends on whether they were able to take a shower on time or if they fought their way all the way to bedtime. So I do apologize for that. I forgot to mention that earlier. That will happen pretty much every Monday because they call every day. So me, I'm Luna Sky. My channel is Luna Sky. I will be referred to as Luna B since we have Luna Faye. And so I grew up in a fundamentalist Christian household. My parents were missionaries. My mom is currently a pastor. I went to a ministry school at the age of 13 and graduated, but because of my age, I could not be ordained, so I was honorarily ordained. At 19, I finished the school again and became an ordained minister. I, however, behind the wall or whatever, was practicing witchcraft from the age of about 13, 14, and was learning more about the occult and learning more about paganism in general and learning more about my culture. I am Puerto Rican, and one of the religions in Puerto Rico, along with a strong sense of Catholicism, is Santeria, which is a combination of mystic Catholicism with the pagan traditions of both the Taino, which are the natives of Puerto Rico, and the African slaves that were brought over by the Spanish. So it's just this amalgamation of Spanish, Taino, and African culture in this religion, and I'm still learning because it didn't come to my attention until about a few years ago. So I'm still learning about it, but it's gotten, for me, it's very interesting to learn not only a new path, but something that is a part of my culture and my history, which means a lot to me. I'm generally a very eclectic pagan. I have a Wiccan leaning because that's what I started with learning, was through Wicca, and I study a lot of meditation techniques that are usually Buddhist in nature, and I don't really have that much exciting stuff going on. I do have schizophrenia, so my practice is kind of wobbly right now because I have a hard time differentiating between what's real and what's not. So I usually fight with experiences that I'm having that are mystical in nature with my illness. So I may mention my illness a couple of times. Other than that, I'm relatively boring, but I'm fun to be around.
Yes, you are.
Yes,
And that's pretty much it. That's me.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. I think it's really interesting that you brought up mental illnesses in the craft and traditions and whatnot. I believe that another of our witches also talks about that, and her name is Winter Rose. That's her channel. We have another witch who could not be here, and their channel is called the Pagan Tree, I believe. And then we have Toby, who is the Poison Path. So, Anybody who didn't mention their channel, go ahead and do so.
Storytelling tea and tarot.
And mine is Liloken Ska Thatch.
And I will try to, after this video is posted, I will actually, either I or one of our other witches will go in and list our channel names in the description. And hopefully sometime this week we will be able to come together again and have those who were not able to introduce themselves and their path and their opinions do so in a second video, probably labeled Introductions Part 2. So the channel of Wild Witchcraft is literally going to be us coming together as a collab, giving our thoughts, our opinions, and maybe some advice about each topic. And we have already a list of topics that we want to talk about, ranging anywhere from story time, which is like fun, weird things that have happened to us during our path, anywhere from like getting stuck in your path and overcoming it, or how do you get around it, blockages and that kind of thing. So I hope you all enjoyed this broadcast. Since it is our first one, it was a little rocky, but I think we're going to get better at this. What do you guys think?
Oh, I think so.
Okay, you guys, I'm going to stop the broadcast, and hopefully you will see part 2 in a couple of days. It will probably be later in the evening, and we may actually post a event to show you when that will happen. So come in and watch live. So I hope you guys had fun, and blessed be.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Bye-bye.